Today, we are learning about the top 10 most valuable key issues from Marvel Comics published in the year 1989. We're going to use the Overstreet Price Guide Annual as our basis for the prices to rank the books. Number 10 of the year, Thor, number 412. This is the first full appearance of the New Warriors and also has a Juggernaut appearance. Print run estimated at 183,000 copies of this book. Thor was not a very big selling title for Marvel at this time period, but this helped boost interest. There's also a Beta Ray Bill backup story in this book. Ron Frenz and Joe Sinnott cover and art. It's the 143rd most valuable Marvel comic of the 80s, 10th of the year. On the CGC census, we can see there are 608 copies graded in all conditions, and there are 382 9.6s or higher. Heritage Auctions has sold 33 copies in the last 21 years. Using the Overstreet Annual Price Guide for all conditions, we see the book has not had any movement for a number of years in lower grades, and it's trickling up slowly in higher grades raw. On the census, there are 192 9.8s and 190 9.6s. The number 9 comic of the year from Marvel is Sensational She-Hulk #1. This is her second ongoing series. This one features John Byrne cover art and scripts, which he did for the first 8 issues. Print run estimated at 234,000 copies. Pink background cover. 151st ranked book of the decade and number 9 of the year. 889 copies graded by CGC with 566 9.6 or higher. Heritage has only sold 2 copies of this book on its own. In the Overstreet Price Guide, same issue, no movement at all in lower grades, but slowly trickling up in higher grades raw. And remember, if you want to see what the really high grade copies are doing, you can find out the CGC slab copies by checking out gpanalysis.com or looking up ended auctions on ebay.com. There are 325 9.8s of this book. Number 8 of the year is Amazing Spider-Man 317. And this is the last of a 3-issue trilogy, all tying into a Venom storyline. Venom and the Thing appear in this issue. We have Todd McFarlane cover and art. Print run estimated at 266,000 copies. Popular, but still not a massive seller at this time for Marvel either. Nice Venom cover. Print run estimated 266. It ranks 134th of the decade. A lot more demand for this series, of course. This is a very highly collected title. And of course, lots of Venom collectors. We have 1358 for copies graded. There are 723 9.6s or higher. Heritage has now sold 39 of these. And again, in lower grades in the price guide, no movement at all. And just had a little bump up in the last year. Again, demand is definitely starting to grow for this book. There are 253 9.8s of this book. And if you're a fan of that issue, well, number 7 of the year is the first book in this series. We have Amazing Spider-Man 315, same print run, still Todd McFarlane working on this issue, and still a Venom storyline. White background cover makes this book tough in high grades. We have 1,572 copies graded. There are over 1,000 9.6s or higher graded. Heritage has even sold 57 of these. Again, in Overstreet Price Guide, same thing. No movement in lower grades, but a bump up this year in higher grades raw. And there are 595 9.8s of this book. The number 6 comic of the year, this has been a key for many years, Wolverine #10, features a Sabretooth appearance, and this is the first battle before Wolverine had claws. This is a Bill Sienkiewicz cover. Print run estimated at 308,000 copies. At this time, this was a new series, and it was outselling Amazing Spider-Man at this time. This book has 2 copies graded 9.9 by CGC. It's the 90th most valuable Marvel comic of the decade. There are over 3,000 copies graded by CGC, including 1,800 9.6s or higher. Heritage has sold 41. This has a white background cover. Overstreet Price Guide, a little bit of movement in all grades as it's sneaking up there. 2 9.9s and 915 9.8s. Next on our chart, in 5th place, we have Uncanny XMen, and this is issue 244. This is the first appearance of Jubilee, Mark Silvestri cover and art. Print run really high. This was Marvel's one of their best-selling titles at this era in the late 80s. 409,000 copies printed, 78th rank of the decade, almost 3,000 copies graded by CGC, and almost 1,700 9.6s or higher. Heritage has sold 79 of this key issue. Features the 4 ladies on the cover. Again in Overstreet, a little movement in all grades, just taking a little bump up this year. There's 1 9.9 and 842 9.8s. Number 4 of the year is Wolverine number 8. Now, it's rare for a book to become valuable just based on its cover, but this is considered a classic cover of the Gray Hulk. Solid blue background, $1.50 cover price, print run, 308,000 copies. John Buscema cover and art. Again, ranks 98th of the decade. Over 1,400 copies graded by CGC, 939.6s or higher. Heritage has sold 35 of these. Overstreet had a big jump on this book just this year alone. It almost doubled in a single year in all grades. We have 1 9.9 and 557 9.8s. The number 3 book of the year, this is a big surprise. This book has never even ranked in the top 100 of the year until this year, and it just massively jumps onto the list in 3rd place. And if you look at the Overstreet price guide, you'll see what crazy price jump this book has had. It is Captain America, $354. So why the sudden interest? This was not a key issue until this year. It is the first appearance of John Walker as U.S. agent, and he's featured in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV series, which is what's given the big boost for this book. Print run estimated at 178,000 copies. Only a key due to the TV show and a lot of speculation. It ranks as the 40th most valuable Marvel comic of the decade. Because it's only been a key book for the last year, the census is a lot smaller. People haven't really caught up on it yet. There's only 212 copies graded, 96 9.6s or higher. Heritage has only ever sold 1 copy of this book. 75-cent cover price. And look at the Overstreet price guide. The book has gone up 20 times in value since last year in low grades. And even in highest grades, it jumped from $3 to $80. There are only 36 9.8s on the census. This book was also recently reprinted, proving that Marvel also believes this is a key issue. There's a new facsimile edition that came out dated March 2021, and there's only 9 copies graded in total of that book. So that is a new book to the list as of this year. The number 2 comic of the year has ranked number 1 for the last 3 years, but this year falls down to number 2, and it is Amazing Spider-Man 316. This has also become a very major key book because some people consider this is the first real cover of Venom and Spider-Man here. And this issue also features a Black Cat appearance, Todd McFarlane cover art, print run 266,000 copies. Classic cover now. Almost 5,000 copies graded by CGC, including 2,600 9.6s or higher. Heritage has even sold 67 of these. In the Overstreet price guide, a big bump just this year alone, gone up 50%. And now it has now hit the $100 mark. And on the census, we have 1 10.0, 9.9, and 1,178 9.8s. This book is such a key issue that we even have on the census graded copies of the German, Dutch, and Spanish editions of this comic back from 1989. And the number 1 most valuable comic of 1989, and this is unbelievable. This book did not even rank in the top 100 last year. It has just taken over, skyrocketed. Amazing, huge demand for this book this year. West Coast Avengers 45. It's the first appearance of Vision in his all-white exterior costume, and it's a cover swipe of the original appearance in Avengers 57. The character appeared in this costume in WandaVision, the TV show that debuted in this year and was a huge hit. Print run estimated 181,000 copies of this book. It's the 20th most valuable Marvel comic of the entire decade, number 1 comic of 1989, 476 copies graded by CGC with 215 9.6s or higher. Because it's only been a hot book this past year, Heritage Auctions has not yet sold a single copy ever of this book. And again, look at Overstreet. This book has gone crazy. In lower grades, in a single year, it has jumped 10 times in price. And in higher grades, this year it jumped 20 times in price. Unbelievable. This does not happen very often. When it happens, it's usually due to movie or TV show hype, with speculators and collectors jumping on it. And there are only 86 9.8s. Now let's compare all these books on the CGC census and see what we notice about them all. By far, the book with the most copies graded on our top 10 is Amazing Spider-Man 316 with almost 5,000 copies, followed by Wolverine 10 with 3,000 copies, and Uncanny XMen 244, almost 3,000 copies. At the other end, the books with the lowest numbers on the census are the two books that just became keys this year, Captain America 354 and West Coast Avengers 45. But guaranteed, we know the census is going to keep filling up quickly on those books. In terms of high grade, Spider-Man 316 by far has the most high grade copies. We even have 10s and 9.9s and over 1,000 9.8s. After that, the most common book again is Wolverine 10 with 915 9.8s. And again, on the opposite end, the books with very few copies graded 9.8 or high grade at all. Captain America 354 is way at the bottom with only 36 copies graded. So there you go, the top 10 most important and valuable Marvel comics of 1989. We do this every week. Please subscribe to this channel so you can see what happens next. And we thank you for watching.